Hi, good morning. This is gonna be a different video than my usual stuff. I found this tool. I've been playing around with it. It's from Google, the Google NotebookLM. And what I did is I gave it one of my videos, the burnout video, and I created a podcast from it. Yeah, let's listen to the podcast. See you in the next one.
Okay, so burnout. You ever feel like not just tired, but like actually burnt,
Oh, yeah,
like completely out of fuel?
totally.
So we're doing a deep dive today on burnout. We found this YouTube video. It's called Let's Talk About Burnout from Simple Life Reflections. And it's got some like really interesting visuals and stuff. So I'm curious to see, what you think.
Yeah, I actually thought it was really interesting how they started the video. They compare like a person with burnout to like a burnt log,
Oh, wow.
which I thought was such a like powerful image. It's like, that feeling of just being totally spent, nothing left,
Yeah.
totally empty.
It's true. And they connect that to the idea of life being this merry-go-round. How everything just feels like it's spinning faster and faster.
Yeah.
And I feel like some days, you're just clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, you're just trying to hold on at the edge. That's the thing. It makes you feel so out of control,
Yes.
like you're constantly trying to keep up.
Yeah. And then they were saying that part of that pressure comes from like, all the things that we all deal with, right? Like work and social media
Oh, yeah.
and just like too much information all the time.
It's overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming, right? But then they add in this whole other layer, which I thought was really interesting, which is like, it's not even just the external pressures, it's also the ones that we're putting on ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our own expectations.
Yeah, like we're the ones who are like, oh, my life needs to look like this.
And
Exactly. And I need
right.
to be achieving all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Like this perfect version of ourselves that's like not even attainable.
Totally. And the video really makes you think about like, how much pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect. Like,
Yeah.
And it's funny because they use the word perfect. And I feel like so much of that is just like what we're seeing online, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like this
Yeah.
curated,
Yeah.
like highlight reel.
Yeah.
That's just not realistic.
Exactly. It's like we're all trying to like live up to this impossible standard.
And it's exhausting.
So exhausting.
It's like a race with no finish line.
Yeah. And it's like, all of that like striving and the pressure, it's like they're saying that's kind of what keeps us stuck on that like outer edge of the merry-go-round.
Yeah, where it's just spinning, spinning, spinning.
Exactly. And they're like, okay, well, if you want to get off that crazy ride, you have to move towards the center.
Right, like towards the calm in the middle of the storm.
Yeah. Okay, so then how do you actually do that? I mean, like, it's a cool metaphor, but how do we like slow things down in real life?
Well, they had some pretty practical suggestions. Like one thing they talked about was limiting our tech time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like it's so easy to just get sucked into, your phone and emails and all that
Totally. Scrolling and scrolling.
all day long. And so they were suggesting like just taking breaks, even if they're short,
Okay.
turn off notifications,
Oh, wow.
even like putting your phone on airplane mode sometimes.
See, that's where I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, that feels very radical.
I know.
But I also get it. It's like we're constantly bombarded. So to actually like disconnect,
Yeah.
it's almost like we've forgotten how.
It's true. It's like we don't even know how to just be in our bodies anymore
It's so true.
without that like constant stimulation.
Yes. And then they even suggested things like spending time in nature, which, I mean, duh, right?
Right.
Like, obviously, that's going to make you feel better, but
But we forget.
we forget. We totally do. Like,
Yeah.
when's the last time I actually, like, went for a walk in the park and just, like, chill?
Right. And actually appreciated it.
Exactly. And then, oh, this one I thought was interesting, too. They were talking about how, like, we should try to focus on one thing at a time.
Oh, yes. Single tasking,
Single tasking, instead of trying to do, like, 5 things at once.
which is like the opposite of how we live now.
Yeah.
Right. But they were saying it's actually like better for our stress levels if we can just like chill out and focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, and actually be present in the moment,
Yeah. It's like we're always thinking about the next thing on our to-do list and we're never actually like enjoying what we're doing.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's a recipe for burnout.
For sure.
Another thing that they said that really resonated with me was this whole idea of being kind to ourselves.
Oh, yeah, self-compassion.
Yeah. Like, are we giving ourselves a break?
Right, because it's easy to just, like, beat ourselves up when we're feeling burned out.
Oh, totally. Like, ugh, why am I not doing more? Why am I so tired? Like, all that stuff.
All the time. But we're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We forget to be, like, human.
Totally. We forget to take care of ourselves. Exactly. And then we wonder why we're burnt out.
Right.
But they said this one thing in the video that really stuck with me, which was that, like, when we're so busy chasing after all this external stuff, like success and all that,
Yeah.
we end up, like, neglecting the things that actually matter.
Like our health, our relationships,
Yes.
our sense of purpose.
Yeah, it's like we get so caught up in the doing that we forget to just, like, be.
Absolutely.
But, okay, so they kept talking about this merry-go-round thing, right? And it seems like what they're saying is that it's not about, like, stopping life altogether. It's more like, how do we choose to engage with it?
Exactly.
Like, do we have to be on that crazy edge the whole time?
Right. Like, do we have to be clinging on for dear life?
Exactly. And they said this phrase, they were like, you are the driver, not the passenger.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. And it really hit me because it's like, we actually have a choice,
We have agency.
Yes. Like, we can, like, slow down. We can step off the ride for a minute if we need to.
Yeah. Like, we can set boundaries. We can say no to things.
Yes. And, like, decide what we want,
Exactly.
Like, what actually matters to us.
Define success on our own terms.
Yes. This has been such a good conversation. Like, we've covered so much about burnout today, and I feel like we could keep going, but
There's always more to say.
I know, right? But if you're listening and you're like, okay, I want more, I need to dive deeper into this, definitely check out that video. It's called Let's Talk About Burnout from Simple Life Reflections, and it's on YouTube. We'll put a link in the show notes for you.
For sure.
But maybe just like a final thought, as you're going about your day-to-day, think about that merry-go-round. Where are you on that ride right now?
Ooh, good question.
And where do you, like, actually want to be?
It's about finding that balance.
Yes, that's so good. All right, well, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.